Hi, it's Joy, and today we're watching The Boys, Season 2, Episode 5, We Gotta Go Now, which, that sounds stressful. I have been loving the season so far. Everything is really escalating. I feel like things are beginning to build and build and build the way they did throughout Season 1, and I'm really scared about where it's going to go next. And we've got a heartbroken Butcher. Is he going to go back and rejoin the boys? Is he going to just mope around? I say mope around, you know, like, he has just had his heart broken, so like, or... you know, he kind of, for a moment there, truly believed he was going to get Becca back and they were going to go on a run and be together, and now she has chosen, understandably, to stay with her kid. But there's just so much going on, and these characters are all suffering so much. And I'm terrified of Stormfront, and I'm terrified of Homelander, but I also just loathe his being and find him pathetic. Stormfront is just terrifying, and I loathe her, but, you know, she doesn't yet have the pathetic side to her, which makes her more stressful. But yeah, I am in love with this show. If you would like to watch the unedited version of this reaction, you can see it up on my Patreon right now, along with the next 2 episodes. So that's episode 6 and episode 7 are already up on my Patreon. And you can also get the edited version 1 week early up there as well. So yeah, I don't want to wait any longer. Let us go. Is this that dodgy movie they're filming? Because this can't be real. Milking it for everything it's worth. Part of what she used to at least have a part of her that was special and hers, and now Walt gets to milk it.
Torturing me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You do. You're a bastard.
I mean, that would be cruel.
He loves it now, especially now Stormfront's encouraged him to avoid everyone living in terror. Oh my goodness, yep. Yep. Your carelessness. They finally got it on tape. Finally! Finally!
So what, they're all starving, but one of them's got a fucking cell phone?
You know, I really wish you had...
Murder the man.
Down a point and a half, 2?
Oof.
9.5.
9.5?
Though I'm scared because he's just going to decide that everyone should hate him and be evil.
9.5?
You murdered an innocent kid.
What?
Yes, he is.
Protesting? Me? Oh my god, they're protesting me.
They've been at the town.
No. Apology?
Yes, because you murdered an innocent person yet again.
Well, I'm here when you want me.
I hate her. What's her game plan?
I'm not mad, you know?
Huey.
I just want you to...
You're always like my canary. Thank you. Goodbye, Huey.
For Butcher, that was very sweet. I mean, I'll ask him and then come up with the canary analogy. Butcher, what is his plan here? To do some kind of suicide mission, or generally to just go off the grid and just give up on life?
He was nice.
Yeah.
And...
called me his canary.
Called me his canary?
I feel like everything is at breaking point here. Like, what is her plan now?
But how are you gonna get through all of them?
Don't worry.
Ugh!
Girls get it done.
Oh.
Cut a rehearsal, no one move.
I mean, clearly you like me. You've been eye-fucking me like a lovesick state girl all day. Why is that?
Oh, Annie.
I don't know, I think...
My nephew.
Small nephew. Sorry. I should have known the minute there was a extreme British accent. He's just so ugly. Was he saying goodbye to his dog? Because he's going to kill himself. He was nice to Huey. Butcher, she picked her child over you. She didn't not choose you. Is she truly believe you'd have done everything you could to protect her kid too? She'd have come.
Your big farewell speech.
Oh.
Honestly, I think it's better if we just leave it open-ended. You know what I mean? We don't know.
But we do, because you are.
Yeah. To an extraordinary woman,
You just met.
to call my wife.
You're still a rapist.
That's really nice.
Dear Evan Hansen.
Can we help you?
Dear Evan Hansen. Oh my god, she just ripped his face off! Yep, she's going off the deep end. Oh god.
Oi, Billy.
Oi, Billy.
You told me you were bringing company.
Company.
Who's this one remind you of? Isn't he the spitting of Lenny?
Who's Lenny? Like his brother or
We're
something?
retiring. We came because we're worried.
Your
Yeah.
consent's tingling, is it? Well, don't you worry.
Butcher.
Where's back not going anywhere?
They care about you. You care about them, even if you just put yourself there all the time. I know you're suffering. Oh. What the fuck? Yeah.
Black Noir's here.
Uh-huh.
What?
They thought they were safe.
On us.
She didn't want out.
Because of her son.
Brought with an audience.
Okay. Oh! Clever! Although they are most wanted.
Many nails, ball bearings, electrical wiring.
Oh my god.
Aerosol products. I need a can about this big. Really.
Oh, her mum. I love Homelander stunt double. I wonder if that's the real Homelander stunt double.
Annie wasn't trying to ambush you, I promise.
You were. Everything's always
Did you
about
get any of
you.
Your mom is so sorry about the compound V. and
Oh,
she
shut up.
understands.
I used you as a trophy to make myself feel important. I know that now.
And you're still doing it.
Stranger.
Yes.
Our relationship. I mean, lots of parents did what I did.
Oh, well that makes it all okay.
This is not
Yeah.
the time.
She's made it very clear she does not want to talk about this with you
Look,
here.
everyone is upset. I'd be grateful to have a mom like Donna.
Oh, that's... I hate this.
Powerful. She's more than just a superhero now.
This
She
is the
a
way everything gets twisted into
representation
crazy
matters.
corpse.
Hashtag Brave Maeve.
Oh, Lord.
We'll recommend Chicago Pride because you are too.
This is Maeve's journey and Maeve's story.
Yeah, you know what?
We are going with a polished, tailored look.
No, she's a human being who exists.
Menswear.
Pew research shows that
Yeah.
feminine women in a relationship sends a problematic message.
Yeah, this isn't pen.
This is Homelander,
Yeah.
okay? And he's fucking with me.
Yeah.
If you go out there, we're gonna take that motherfucker down.
Yes! Oh my god, yes. Look, just can you go discuss things with Starlight? Because there's already a whole team of people you could join. And I would 10 out of 10. I forgot about them. I have 3 ships on this show. Last episode I said 2, I had 3. Like, please go and rejoin. Join the boys.
I'm naked.
Yeah, Huey was a couple of episodes ago.
They'll lie down.
She just doesn't want you. That's all.
And you know she does want you.
Say that again. Who the fuck asked you to come here? Eh?
It's what you do when you care about someone and you can tell they're about to kill themselves. You ask for it enough times.
You're so scared of son. I ain't interested.
Okay, then go die. Bye, Butcher. Have a nice death. You are, deep down, you won't admit it to yourself, so you just suffer and...
Get out of the fucking way. Don't make me move you.
You can move him.
Mm-hmm. Because people care about you. More than you deserve right now.
Bestie. How is this stubborn stone front? I know you blame yourself for your brother. I know the rage you feel. But this is not the way.
She's lost.
Poison for your soul, I know.
You didn't, sweetheart. I know. No. Yo.
I don't understand what you're saying because you won't teach me.
Oh. He cares about you. She's in the same sort of spot as Butcher, only her brother's dead. Sweetheart, lean on the people you still have. Oh man. But Kimiko, sweetheart, you have people that care about you, okay?
I used to be angry,
Oh. His
insecure,
blimmin' cult.
unsure. But thanks to the church
And a
of collective,
rapist. And
I
now,
know the kind
I'm
of
still a
man I wanna
rapist.
be.
But I have an
The
arranged
kind of man
marriage.
who calls out injustice. Knock it off.
Oh, knock it off!
The kind of man sees the
All kinds of people in, you know?
I don't know.
She's racist.
Can't be a part of something I don't believe in.
Look, I know it's not
That's
easy to do
raw.
this job, okay?
The
When I got
whole
fired,
thing of
I
raw.
tendered my way through.
Yep. Glory days are over.
You know,
Finally, we are going to hold hearings up and
Good, I don't believe it's gonna happen. Because you can't stop him, exactly. He's too powerful. He could kill her in a second. He could kill them all in a second. That's the whole problem.
Well, the bad guys, they don't think like us.
You didn't even try, Homelander.
So,
You didn't even remotely look to see if the coast was clear. You could have stopped him easily and not killed anyone.
wait, this happened before? How many times? Well, no. My point is,
Yes,
we all
so
have the
many
same
times.
goals. Now, let's not let your hearts get in the way of your head.
You don't speak for us.
Just relax. Calm down.
Yes. Ha ha ha. Die. But this is just gonna make you more unstable and like angrier and more murderous. Or did he just imagine doing that? I wouldn't put it past him. Yeah, I didn't think he'd actually do that. It's what he wants to do. Yeah, this job is not worth it. You got out once.
Alternative to privatized healthcare.
Sorry. Her accent is just making me laugh. If this woman is actually British, I'm so sorry, but what's she doing? Oh, there's even a sad violin playing. I'm so scared though, because he's going to go nuts. Like, he's going to go mental and just kill people. So I'm enjoying watching the breakdown part. Sage Grove Centre. Hello, I knew on Twitter that he was in it. I will say that I follow him on Twitter, and I'm pretty sure I read that he died, but in The Boys, that he was like, oh, you know, it's a comic book world, maybe I could come back. I have no idea whether his character was good, bad. He seems bad, let's face it, because he's working with Stormfront. Unless he thinks she's good, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure, just to spoil what I already know, is that his character, I do believe, does not survive the season, but he may die in this episode for all I know. Like, I know nothing, but that, yes. I stopped reading as soon as I realised it was about a show I plan to watch. Oh, no, worst.
No good. Not gonna happen. Dorian's a goner. And then
So Billy was a murderer as a child. Like, that's over extreme.
God rest his soul.
What happened?
Oh, I want to know what happened though. Is your light flickering? The ghost's hunting.
Hey, man! Come on, everyone, out!
Yeah, this plan is going badly. I'm stressed.
Get him out of here.
Oh god.
Wait!
And now Huey's gonna have to go in there and be the little brother. Is Black Noir? Imagine if he was Black Noir was Lenny.
All right, you fucker. Where are you?
Give us a sign. Show yourself. Oh god. Oh. No. Look, he frustrates me, but I don't want him to die. I don't need him to die. Oh, it's like his little brother being attacked.
You kill him. You can kiss your fucking career goodbye.
Oof. Oof.
I got photos. Landers, son.
Protecting Huey.
One fucking finger. Photos go out of the cloud.
Protecting all of them, but it was like his brother.
Pharaoh's in. Reckon you might want to keep it that way.
Who the hell is Black Noir?
Christ,
Billy. You care about them.
Do you want to check this out?
Oh, fuck no.
Okay.
Oh, please don't try and recruit him to your team. Starlight.
What, you think I'm a piece of shit?
Fuck yeah. The point is...
Yes, you know you are.
Is a performance.
Oh no.
You leaked it to MSNBC. Now what do you think Vought's gonna feel when I tell them?
Well, how do you think the world will feel when I tell them that
Oh god.
you used to be Liberty?
You're gonna be a big help to me.
What the hell does that mean?
Oh god.
Come in! Just between us girls, right, Starlight? Yeah.
She's gonna try and manipulate her to do what she
Yeah,
wants.
that's right. Yeah, me too.
Isn't it time? Can't she just leave? Please, could she just leave?
5 points.
Ugh.
Yeah, people are for no bad.
Yeah.
I never want to see her again, please. Because of her voice. This is not something I needed in my life. She's a psychopath, worse than you, if that's possible. End scene. Thank you. I've never appreciated an episode ending more. I mean, that was another really, really good episode of The Boys. I felt like it was a bit of a rollercoaster episode, especially with like Butcher. I mean, for me as well, I've always found Butcher to be, I mean, he's Butcher. He's very much kind of frustrating, puts himself first always, but you can just see glimpses that underneath that, he is a normal person who cares about people other than himself and cares about his team. We saw glimpses of that and glimpses of him trying to fight against it. But I'm hoping that this episode was his wake-up call, that he realised that, no, I care about them. You know, yeah, I want Becca back. Yeah, I'm gonna get Becca back. But Huey and MM and Frenchie and Kamiko, I guess, they weren't around. You know, there are other people that matter and other people that he cares about too. That's what I need him to wake up to. Because it's one thing if he says, look, I'm genuinely really sorry that, like, or even just like, look, yeah, I know that I'm a dick because I'm leaving you in this position, but I have to go and get Becca. I can still kind of understand that. Like, that I'm not totally against him doing that. But it's the way he's always like, hey, it's fine, it's nothing, I'll get Becca back. In his very Cockney accent. I'm very not. I mean, it's what I mean, the slight extremes he goes to with his accent have now been put into strong, like, what's the word? Perspective, that's the one, by his aunt, because my god, please never have that woman in the show again. Acting was fine, just the voice. If she's a British actress, I can only imagine she's not from London, and if she is from London, I'm sorry, I'm just confused. But no, that was really good. So getting kind of a glimpse into his life, that, you know, he's got a family with criminal tendencies, which isn't that much of a shock. I'm slightly disturbed by the story of him repeatedly whacking a seesaw into a boy's face with everyone telling him to stop. Like, it would be one thing if in the heat of the moment he did it like once, twice even, but he would have killed a kid. Like, that's not normal. That should immediately be intensive therapy to help break that cycle in your head. You know, the stereotype of like big brother beating up little brother's bully, fine. I think, you know, violence isn't the best, but a couple of punches, that's fine. I worry that Butcher is a psychopath a little bit, but in a different way to the superhero ones. But on the whole, I liked that the episode ended with him kind of valuing his own life again, which obviously I don't want Butcher to die. Valuing his team, you know, he stepped in, he didn't reveal the information, he was going to die, but the minute it was his team that were in peril, he said he'd use the pictures. Now, I don't know whether or not he has pictures, he very easily could, because he'd got up to the house, but then also it's Becca's kid he'd be exposing, so does he want to expose that? But it was a good bluff no matter what, even if it was a bluff with the evidence. Black Noir is still a character we know nothing about, and like even Homelander knows nothing about him. I know it's intentional, and I feel like he's probably going to die before we ever find anything out, but I want to know. He's very much just a trained, like, lapdog for Vought. Like, he does whatever Edgar tells him to. So I'm still intrigued by him, but he's always scary because he just appears, other than the fact that we saw him sobbing over Compound V, he just doesn't seem to care about anything or anyone, or just does what he's told. I think seeing the way, the lengths that Huey and Em are willing to go to for Butcher, despite all the times he has just dropped them, despite all the times he has told them to fuck off or that they don't matter, or, you know, like kind of all the things he's done, they were still there for him in his time of need. And that, I love. That is like, I don't think shows work if the main characters, especially the main good characters that you root for, I mean, I call them good because they've done some bad things along the way, if they don't care about each other, if they don't have a strong bond, if, you know, every episode is like the main character telling the others, fuck off, I hate you, you just kind of stop caring as much about like the dynamics. Whereas the fact that this episode really highlighted that despite all of the disagreements, they have such a strong bond, I really appreciated. Finding out about Lenny, is Lenny dead? I mean, she went, oh, bless his soul, or whatever she said. The sort of story that usually would end with him being dead, but I feel like with Butcher's case, he'll be like an investment banker in London or something, and it's not tragic in the slightest. But I'm just intrigued about where that story ends, and that maybe some of the way Butcher is sort of so awful to Huey a lot of the time is because he does remind him of his brother and he doesn't want him to. I find, like, Butcher just saying to them, oh, Becca didn't want to leave, she didn't want to go with me. Like, that's true, that is the basics of what happened, but he's not telling them that Becca wanted to be with her son, that Becca didn't think it would be safe for her son to leave, and that Becca didn't think it would be safe for her son to be with Butcher and to leave. That, you know, as a mother, you could see, and Butcher could see, although he was probably drowning in his own pain at the time, fair enough, that it was killing her to drive away from him. It was killing her to have to say, no, I'm not going with you. That what caused her to lose her hope was her brain, her rational brain kicking in and saying, if we flee, he's going to leave the kid behind. You know, that's why his plan to climb over the wall, when he was like, oh, he's got powers, hasn't he? Like, yeah, that was a factor in his mind, but his other factor was probably, yeah, it's just the two of us. Well, we've got a dog, but like, we don't need the kid. That is why Becca didn't feel she could go with him. And I think even if you love someone, if you love someone, you've got to love what they love. And in a world without Vought, there is every chance that she would have gone to the police about the rape, or they would have just been raising Ryan as their own. Because if she didn't want to get rid of the baby, because it was a product of rape, if she wanted to have the child and raise it, he would be their child. And Butcher would have had to deal with in the time of, can he deal with the rapist baby, etc. But it's not the kid's fault. We know from Starlight, they've accepted, you know, Starlight, Kimiko, people can have compound V in their systems and not be bad people. So Butcher I still feel like he's on a learning curve, but he's someone that so far, every time I think he's learned, he drops back down to 0, so I need to pray he is going up. And yes, I hope that the authorities didn't find his aunt's drug stash. So then with Kimiko and Frenchie, I think I've been saying it Kimiko because like when I read the name, that's how I would read it, but I feel like they pronounce it more Kimiko, so I'm sorry about that. I will try and get it right. She is breaking my heart because she and her brother had a bond that goes beyond anything. You know, it's the kind of bond that most people can't imagine because it's bonds forged through such trauma and just loss and being all you have for each other. That goes beyond the average bond that any of us would experience in our lifetimes. They were each other's lifelines. And, you know, we know that she was willing to do anything to save him. You know, she wanted to jump on the next plane, like she was murdering her way to try and get back home, to be there for him, to protect him, to save him. And she will blame herself potentially for the fact that they captured him in the first place. If he hadn't have been with them, then the boys wouldn't have been trapped, then the Seven wouldn't have tracked them down, and Stormfront wouldn't have killed him. She'll also blame herself that in that moment they unleashed him to help save Huey potentially, but most especially she'll blame herself because she was the one that couldn't get away. He was safe, he was on the other roof, Stormfront was stopping to murder her, she wasn't going after him, and he came back to save her. And then she was powerless to do anything but watch him die. And so I find like I can't even begin to comprehend the pain that Kimiko is going through, and just withdrawing from these people. Like, she doesn't feel like she's deserving of anything because she's, you know, been raised in this terrorist camp. As Compound V, she's murders people quite easily. You know, she murdered people before they met her. She's murdering people now for money, which, I mean, if they're bad people, but no, you can see that she just feels like giving up and just becoming a monster. She doesn't care if she lives, she doesn't care if she dies. She's just going to give up, be the monster that everyone thinks she is, be the monster that would let her own brother die. And she doesn't want Frenchie's help, she doesn't want someone to care about her. And yeah, I'm hoping that Frenchie finally kind of being like, that's it, done, I'm done. I mean, I would have maybe liked it if he apologised again for the kiss, because he did at the time. It was just very ill-advised. It was something that was building between them for sure, but it was not the time. So Kimiko is very lost right now, and I mean, Frenchie has been very much dedicated to her for like a whole season now. I can't remember exactly which episode she came into season 1, but I feel like by this point he was fairly dedicated to her. And I think doing right by her, helping her to choose a better path or to not give in to the darkness is something he's been doing to try and help himself find redemption. But it's not just that. I think there is an element of that which is maybe not the best, you know, like she's not a cat off a tree you can save, but at the same time, I really do think that he just saw a bond in this lost soul that he could see himself having been in that position and wanting to be there for her and to protect her and just to help someone else going through a crappy situation. And the more time they've spent together, they've just had this beautiful connection that I really hope continues to blossom. I hope in the next episode, or at least by the end of the season, Kimiko comes back of her own accord to Frenchie and to the boys, having kind of had taken some time to process her loss. But I mean, she barely knows them. Although they've spent this time concentrated and together. She's not really been able to speak to them, and it's, in a way, it's true what he said, you know, like, she has this method of communication. She's not even tried to teach him, because she could have been like, desk, like pointed at a desk and then done the symbol for desk, you know, it would have been very rudimentary, but they spent hours just in that underground place. Like, there was time she could have attempted to teach him. I think part of her would have wanted to keep that as the special thing she shared with her brother. No one else in the world can understand it but him. So Kimiko is going through hell right now, and I don't blame her at all for any of her decisions. I think it is good that Frenchie followed, in a way it's good that Frenchie followed her, because he's just been consistently there for her, reminding her that he was there for her. But then at the same time, when she was making it kind of clear that she just didn't want him to be there, that, you know, just, she's been ignoring him, running from him, continuing to do whatever the hell she wants to do, it's good that he was like, well, no, fuck off, I'm done. Like, I've done everything for you, I'm done. And I'm hoping that kind of, in the same way that Butcher came around this episode, that Kimiko will as well. Though I don't know, given I think that the scale of her loss is deeper, or it's just different, that it might take her longer. And I say it's deeper because if Butcher had just found out Becca had died, I would, you know, put it, but Becca's fine. Like, I mean, she's as fine as she has been for the past 8 years. She's with her son. Homelander is no longer bothering her. Like, she's doing all right now, comparatively to the dead brother. So then we have the superheroes. I am terrified for Annie. I mean, it's always been a dangerous game, her being on her own on the inside, and leaking the Compound V. They can probably trace that it would likely be Gecko, and then she was seen with him. You know, Stormfront does have some big information on her, and while the media are finding out about Liberty, the media finding out that there's a, you know, a racist superhero that's now masquerading as this great, amazing Stormfront, would be a huge story. She probably wouldn't make it alive off the premises. If she died, I'm sure they could set up a thing of, like, the boys would leak it, but she's very much in danger, and I think from what Stormfront said about "you're going to be of use to me," that there's going to come a time when she's going to say to her, I want you to do X, otherwise I'm telling Vought, you know. Also, what scares me about Stormfront is just that she's been an active superhero since the 70s, and she appears to have many different powers, or at least she's developed her powers to manifest in slightly different ways, so she doesn't appear to be the same superhero all the time. You know, if Stormfront had the exact same powers as Liberty, it wouldn't be unheard of, but it would be a little bit of a giveaway. She seems to, like, do different things. So how powerful is she? The fact that Homelander's X-ray vision, that's not X-ray vision, his laser beams can't even kill her. Like, they hurt, but they don't kill her. If he did it concentrated enough, would it kill her? Just is terrifying. Like, how are we going to stop her? How are we going to stop him, for one thing? So I'm very frightened for Annie right now. She's doing the best she can. And it's just so frustrating to think that Maeve has decided that, you know, enough is enough. She's doesn't know the true depths of Stormfront. She doesn't, she's not currently trying to take on Vought, but she wants to take on Homelander. And I think, to be honest, getting rid of him would be a huge step. I love that, well, I hate that Homelander is intentionally making it so that Vought is exploiting her sexuality, and not even just exploiting her sexuality, but you know, calling her a lesbian when that's not how she identifies. I did wonder on the last episode, maybe she was a lesbian and she was only with Homelander because she didn't have a choice, kind of situation, which is, I think, is still largely why they were together. But, you know, she's bisexual. There's just as much power in being bisexual as in being lesbian. The power comes in owning who you really are. And it's not good representation if the person is faking it. And I hate the way that she was kind of forced through that scene in the movie where she was all like, I'm gay. It was just so false and not true to life. And I think, actually, I'll come to that point in a second. And then them trying to force Elena to not only change her entire image, but also into being part of this huge publicity stunt when it's a real relationship. It's not a show relationship. And thinking that money would make it all better. But I love the fact that Maeve is being true to herself now. You know, she's being open with Elena, she's telling her everything, and although Elena is in more danger than ever because Homelander could decide to just snap her neck at any second, she knows Maeve is still Maeve, and she knows the truth of it, and that is so important to me, and I'm really rooting for them to make it through this. But it's just killing me that she's gone to the deep to recruit help. I mean, yeah, she's not gone to him trying to appeal to the goodness of his heart, she's gone to him to appeal to, like, you want in on the 7 again, here's a deal. But it's just so frustrating to think that, like, there's literally Starlight and all of the boys that she could team up with, and maybe she'll make her own little network and then the two can combine and they'll be more powerful. But I'm stressed. I'm stressed that maybe she's going to approach Stormfront at some point because that will go down hell like hell. It's really stressful. The other thing I want to talk about before I carry on with the different heroes is the whole concept of the movies. I've always thought this since the first episode. Like, I obviously love sci-fi, I love superhero movies. But if Iron Man and Spider-Man and Captain America really existed, they were people who lived, and there was a movie that they acted in. It wasn't even someone else pretending to be them, which I still find weird, like Lifetime movies about like the royal family I find weird. Like, if it was literally them acting as themselves, I don't think I'd really want to watch that. A documentary about them is different. I would love to watch it if they were real life superheroes. Give me all the documentaries. But I find the whole thing of the movies, them pretending to be themselves, so weird. Like, I don't know why those would be successful in the scale they are. I think what would be more successful would be if you've got Homelander, there being a movie about nation ground man. I don't know. I mean, if you have Homelander, there'd be a movie about Captain America who would be an idealised version of the superhero we already have, a fictional version of it. That would be something that I think could work. But I find it so weird because any of their emotional moments, like A-Train's like dramatic goodbye, which I will come to, is like, well, he's not really saying, like, why, you know, he's actually leaving the Sevens in the movie. Like, do people think the movies are real? Like, I find it weird as a concept. The people in this world are just, a lot of them are brainwashed masses, which happens, but why would you, like, they're real people acting as themselves. It's weird. I wonder if the stunt doubles with the real stunt doubles they use, that would be quite a cool idea. So then we have Starlight's mother, who needs to just, everything is not about her. If you have done something that has truly hurt your child, or anyone, and you keep messaging them and you keep messaging them and they keep ignoring you, you do not turn up at their place of work. I do not care whether they're part of a wonderful team, you think, or whether they're in an office. You do not go to their place of work. You do not go up to them at all. You maybe write them a letter or an email. At most, if you have to go and see them because you're all that matters, go to their home. I know her home is Walt Tower, but like, the concept of that she was in her work and then talking with one of her colleagues, even if you think they're a wonderful team member, just telling her private life to someone that you know as well has just joined the Seven. Like, that woman, for all that she's trying to now be like, I'm sorry, but you know, other parents did it. And I understand that I used you as my trophy. Like, yeah, just fuck off. When Stormfront, fuck off Stormfront too. When Starlight, when Annie is ready to talk to you and she is ready to hear what you have to say for yourself, she will do it. But, and we know she has more important things on it. Or her mother is still all about me, you know. Yeah, it sucks. It's hard to live with knowing you've hurt someone you care about, or just knowing you've hurt someone. But you don't get to say when they stop feeling hurt. You don't get to say when you deal with it. So her mum is still awful. Awful. Stormfront is terrible. I hate her so much. A-Train is... I'm intrigued about what's going to happen with him because, you know, he's kind of been blackmailed, forced into doing the farewell scene. But is he just going to stop being in the show? Is he going to end up joining the Deep's cult? Because while he's like, it's a load of rubbish, it's given the Deep a lot of like publicity and stuff. And you know, A-Train is potentially someone in a similar position that the Deep was when he got indoctrinated into the cult. Like, you know, big, strong, powerful man being told, no, now you're nothing. Oh, I can't cope with my ego being destroyed. I'll join the cult. So I'm very intrigued about where A-Train will go next. Then the scene between A-Train and Stormfront was so bizarre because I was like really on A-Train's side, obviously because she was racist and being racist, but my brain is like, no, I hate A-Train so much. He runs through people because he's high and murders girlfriends. But I mean, this show is really good at giving even the good characters, and like even the good characters, grey and dark areas, and even the bad characters, light or areas where you're like, yeah, you go, and you're like, oh, I hate that person. Yeah. Similarly, we have Homelander, and he lost points. He went down because a video finally there was video footage of him collaterally killing an innocent bystander child, or young man, but he was a kid. Like, finally, how many incidents of this have there been? And only now is there video footage of it. So I'm glad that there's getting more and more evidence. I'm scared for people like the Congresswoman who are trying to stand up against Raw and the superheroes, because the truth really is that at the end of the day, what happens if we decide, if they do have a trial and they declare that Homelander is guilty and needs to go to prison? Yeah. You get him, I'm fine here. Like, how do we have a way? I imagine Vought very possibly does have a way that they could subdue him, especially as like they kind of group him in their lab. I feel like potentially there is a super secret thing that can stop superheroes, maybe all of them or just specific to each one. But Homelander, like, how would we stop him if he was found guilty? That is the problem here. That is the main reason why I'm constantly screaming at the show for them to die painfully, is because I cannot currently see an avenue for them to just spend a life in prison. I do not agree with the death penalty in the real world. I think life in prison without possibility of parole, if like someone has done a bad enough murder, take away their freedom, make them live the entirety of their natural life, knowing what they've done, having their freedoms taken from them. I mean, I don't mean like give them like torturous like, you know, give them like human right, like decent living conditions, but you know, they can't go outside when they want, they can't just like take away their freedom in that sense. Don't kill them. Anyway, so that is what ideally I would like for Homelander. In this world I think you have to kill him, but how do you even do that? Like, it's just too much, so I'm stressed for that. But I like that there are people protesting against it, because you've got people like Huey, who, there were so many people who have been hurt, there's even support groups about it. You've got the boys who are like sort of becoming almost like a rogue terrorist organisation themselves to take down Vought. There would be ordinary civilians standing up too, there would be ordinary civilians who aren't going to go to that extreme but trying to make their voice heard and get action done legally and having hope in the system still. So I think that is really important, but I'm scared about where it's going to go. I did enjoy Homelander's breakdown after he made his speech and he admitted to more acts of collateral damage. And yeah, I'm kind of worried, like, what if people turn on like Starlight and Maeve and people who aren't bad superheroes? But I like that public perception is tilting. I mean, Homelander's gone up a bit again, he's gone up again 4 points, because the memes appealing to the right wing, I mean, as we saw in the election, almost half of America is delusional, absolutely beyond delusional right-wing Trump cultists. Again, for the 1000th time, if you are somehow still watching my channel and you voted for Trump or would have voted for Trump if you lived there, or support Trump, please leave, goodbye. Or if you would like to, you could leave a comment down below so I can hide you so I never have to see you again. Like, that's just no. But we know that there are lots of people who will fall for delusional lies, who fall for the kind of patriotism, you know, like, I don't believe in England first, yeah, you know, like, I know, like, I voted to remain. I believe that as a world we should be making stronger connections with each other, that we should be becoming more of, like, you know, when you watch Star Trek and they're like the Federation, or like not Federation, but like Earth is like united, everyone's one. That's what I think the future should be, much more so than I think me being like, England, yeah. So I despair about a lot of people, but those memes would work to some, but there will still be a growing number of people being anti-Homelander and anti-Vought, and a growing number of people getting more evidence to realise the true scale of the problem, and that is what I am excited about and also scared about, because one of these days Homelander, like, if Homelander did decide to just massacre a crowd like that, what would happen? Like, yeah, he'd be declared an enemy and a criminal, but are you gonna stop him? So I'm stressed. I feel like I've potentially missed some characters out here because of the Deep. He's just in a cult. He's just a rapist in a cult. Go be a rapist in a cult. So yeah, this was another really good episode. A reminder that if you would like to watch the unedited version of this reaction, it is up on my Patreon right now. And you can also see the next 2 episodes unedited and the next episode edited a week early. So yeah, thank you so much for watching.